This video was produced by The Top Cut. Be sure to check out thetopcut.net, your home for Pokemon TCG, tournament coverage, professional game analysis, and interviews with the best players in the world. Thanks for watching. Okay everybody, welcome back to Game 2 of the top 4 of the Ohio State Championship. Dustin on the right has just mulliganed after winning the first game, so this is a best 2 out of 3 series. So Justin lost the first game, and he has a decision on who will go first in the second game, which obviously will be him, since there is no disadvantage to going first. And actually it's just a complete advantage, so this will be an important moment. Alright, so Justin starts with Thundurus, which is his absolute preferred starter. He actually has a second one benched, which is questionable. That could open him up to something like a catcher, preventing him from being able to use Disaster Volt on the second turn, but at any rate, he will be able to use Charge on this first turn if he has an energy in his hand, and threaten a turn 2 Disaster Volt, which is pretty scary if you are Dustin, because your Tornadus there is weak to Lightning, and here we just see a Cheren to draw 3, and alright, we definitely have the energy now. There is a Charge, and we have those nice shiny promo energy there from Justin, and it looks like we have a dual ball from Dustin, who got 2 heads, so things are going well for him so far. Let's see what he grabs this time. Just gonna take a look through his deck to see what's prized. So just like in the last game, the focus is gonna be on how quickly will Justin get set up, and also Dustin, how quickly will he be able to start attacking, and B, will Dustin be able to keep the electrics out of play from Justin. So these are going to be the main factors in this matchup, and right away, once again, we see Dustin going right for the Celebi and the Regigigas EX. So he's played a dual ball, so he still has his supporter for the turn. Puts down that Sky Arrow Bridge, which will give his Tornadus a free retreat cost now. He will use Pokegear to grab an N. And if everything goes well, if he draws perfectly, he could get a turn 1 attack with Regigigas EX once again, which would be a pretty big deal. That is extremely threatening, and it's not what you want to see if you are Justin. Regigigas early on is a very, very strong attacker in this sort of situation, just with its huge amount of hit points and its ability to do a solid amount of damage in the early game. So if you're Justin, you are hoping that Dustin does not have the cards to pull this off, which honestly he shouldn't. He needs to draw a switch and a double colorless this turn, and even if he does, it'll only do 60 or 80 to his Thundurus, so not a big deal. So right now we're just gonna have an N. We'll see what Dustin draws off his 6 cards. Justin, apparently when he gets an N for 6, he doesn't draw great cards, which has happened once again. He doesn't have a supporter, so he'll just use Disaster Volt, knock out the Celebi. But Dustin also did not have anything great. He actually promotes the Regigigas EX. Not sure why he did that when Tornadus would have free retreat, but that's what he decided to do. Let's see, we're going to go ahead and dual ball. 2 tails. Not sure what he would have got with that, but that's okay. So now it's Dustin who has no energy, but if he does manage to get the energy in play, then, well, he will be fine, because Justin doesn't have a supporter in his hand. If he doesn't draw a supporter sometime soon, he is going to be in a world of hurt, just because he will fall behind eventually. He won't be able to have enough resources to really keep up. So, a lot of stuff's going to happen here in the next few turns. Games go by very quickly. There's very little room for error when all of these Pokemon are so quick with such high hit points and do large amounts of damage. So we will see, did Dustin, yes, he got 2 Grass Energy, so he will be able to use Giga Power for 60 damage. And right now, Justin really needs to get an electric into play. Doesn't look like he has one though. There is a Pokemon collector, so that wasn't a bad draw at all. He will grab 2 Tynamos and 3rd mystery Pokemon, which will be Zekrom. So he's actually in an okay spot. Right now he's probably just going to use Disaster Volt, which will do 80 damage. And there is a Mewtwo EX in his hand, so he can follow up with X-Ball the next turn if he wants to. Could even do it this turn if he really wants to. So he might have to, looking at his hand. He doesn't have an energy or anything like that. A lightning energy, I mean. So, oh, looks like he just goes right for it and says, alright, I'm going to Disaster Volt for 80. And Justin is in complete top deck mode. He didn't even bench any more Tynamos, which I have to question. You might as well just play him down if you already got one there. And pretty surprising. I mean, if he drew something like a Juniper, he would really want to be able to evolve multiple electrics in one turn. But looks like he decides not to. And now Dustin, he's going to be able... He's probably going to be safe next turn. I mean, he'll be able to just Giga Power for the knockout here. He will tie up the prize situation. And we'll take it from there, I guess. The only thing Justin can do next turn is drop his own Mewtwo and X-Ball. And we'll get into another Mewtwo war. So I'm sure you guys enjoy those. Get to see another one of those. And if we go into a Mewtwo war, this game will probably end in 2 or 3 turns. Now, I don't know what Dustin is doing here. Unfortunately, his deck and his discard pile are off the screen. Looks like he got a Pokegear for Juniper. And I think he discarded a Mewtwo. So we'll see if that ends up impacting this game at all. But, yeah, once the Mewtwo war starts, we'll probably see the game end in 3 turns or so. That's just how the prize situation is going to work out. And we will see Dustin go ahead and Juniper for a fresh 7. He did discard the Mewtwo from his hand, so that might end up being a big deal. But there's a Revive in his hand as well, so maybe not. The main thing is going to be, does Justin ever draw out of his rut of really nothing in his hand? Which is going to be a big concern, honestly. If he doesn't draw a supporter the next turn, or another way to respond with the Mewtwo using X-Ball, he's probably not going to do well this game. Like I said before, there's very little room for error. If I'm assuming that next turn, okay, and Dustin's actually going to go ahead and catch out Tynamo and knock that out. So here comes Mewtwo. We'll probably see... Alright, there's 2 more Tynamos, okay. So that Thundurus does have free retreat, thanks to Sky Arrow Bridge. So he will retreat that, and we'll see an X-Ball for 100. Just enough to knock out that Regigigas. And we have entered Mewtwo War. Here we go. Does Dustin have a response? Now, Justin is ahead by 3 prizes. So... or he's ahead by 2 prizes, I apologize. He has 3 prizes left. So, this could come down to, does Justin get another Mewtwo? Can Dustin respond with his Mewtwo? Does somebody play an N and disrupt the other player and prevent them from getting a knockout? This is all going to be decided within these next few turns. The game really is going to be over within... like 2 turns now. Justin will have 2 more turns, and he will probably win in those 2 turns if he has everything he needs. But Dustin actually going an interesting route. He is putting down Regigigas instead of going for Mewtwo. He revived for it. So he's saying, okay, I do not wish to enter Mewtwo War. I will see your Mewtwo, and I will enter Regigigas War. And, I don't know if Justin actually has a response to Regigigas. He might have to start catching around him. And here is a Juniper. So Dustin really does need a Grass and a double colorless here. to really start attacking. Otherwise, he won't be able to do anything. And ooh, we got both. And an Eviolite. So, Regigigas EX actually kind of deals with Mewtwo somewhat well. In the sense that he just kind of says, okay, I can't knock you out in one hit. You can't knock me out in one hit. We're probably going to have to catch her around each other. And then we'll take it from there. So we'll have to see what Justin decides to do. Does he just go ahead and say, okay, Regigigas, I see you. I'm going to X-Ball you twice and knock you out. Or is he just going to say, okay, I'm going to catch her around you, Regigigas, and not really worry about you. So he Junk Arms away a Zekrom EX and a Zekrom and goes for a Pokegear. Looks like there is a Juniper, so he will get that supporter that he so sorely needs. And, I wonder how Justin's going to go about this. He could just try to catch her around, or he could just try to knock out Regigigas in 2 hits. Right now, Justin, he is in the lead by 1 prize, but this could all turn around with some magic from Dustin. And it looks like we do have that Juniper. We'll draw 7 cards here. And if Dustin could somehow pull off a magic like Shaman and then onto a Mewtwo and catch her out Justin's Mewtwo, which has a double colorless energy sitting there, this could be some trouble. So here's a level ball for another Tynamo. I didn't see whether or not Justin used Super Rod to shuffle one back in or anything like that. If he didn't, then he does play 4 Tynamos. So apologize, getting sidetracked a little bit here. And it looks like Justin's just going to say, okay, I will Disaster Volt for 60, which is an interesting call, I have to say. I don't know exactly what that accomplishes. Of course, Thundurus, now that, well, it doesn't matter if he has an Eviolite or not. Thundurus knocks out Regigigas in 3 hits. And thanks to this Eviolite, there's no way for Justin to hit it for 80 with Thundurus and then follow up with a Bolt Strike from Zekrom for a knockout. He wants to avoid using EX attackers at this point. And it looks like a Tynamo is getting targeted once again, and we'll have an N. So really, I don't know what Justin's plan is. Looks like he's just kind of scared to use his Mewtwo because, well, if Dustin has one, then he kind of loses the prize exchange. But it was kind of unlikely for Dustin to have all the cards to follow up with an X-Ball knockout, especially with that Mewtwo in his discard pile already, and the Shaman in the discard pile as well. So maybe the best route would have been just to go ahead and X-Ball, which is probably what he's going to have to do this turn. So he's going to play a Junk Arm, and Pokegear is getting a lot of airtime here. He's going to look at his top 7 once again. Probably grab the Oak's New Theory, yep, and he will get a fresh hand of 6. So right now X-Ball is doing, let's see, 80 damage. If he were to get another energy and then a Dynamotor, it would do the magical 120 that he needs to knock out the Regigigas EX. Or just another plus power at this point will do it. With the Dynamotor as well. So he does draw the plus power, which is just enough actually for the knockout. So we are still in Mewtwo War apparently. And Justin is still fine. So it looks like he does play 4 Tynamos. They're all 30 hit point ones. So last game he did have 2 prizes, which is more unfortunate than I thought. And he's going to Super Rod 3 of them into his deck. He's really going fishing there. And right here we're just going to see him Dynamotor onto his Mewtwo and then play a plus power, I'm pretty sure. And then he'll X-Ball for just enough. And no matter what Dustin does, Justin will have the cards necessary to win the game next turn, I'm pretty sure. So here is Dynamotor onto Mewtwo. There have been 2 plus powers played, and X-Ball will be a knockout here. We will see Justin knock out this Regigigas and go down to 1 prize. They're just going to do the math here. We got 2+ powers. So that's going to cancel out the Eviolite. And then there's 6 energy. So that'll do 120. That'll be a knockout on Regigigas EX. Justin will be at 1 prize. And we did see a Mewtwo in Justin's hand as well. So odds are, even if Dustin gets a Mewtwo of his own this turn with an X-Ball and get a knockout, he's going to have cards to get the win. He also has a catcher in his hand as well. So unless Dustin plays an N on this turn, he is pretty much done for. And once again, the player who goes first will end up winning the game. And once again, this game will degenerate into Mewtwo battles. I don't know if Dustin actually has the cards to pull this off yet, though. He needs a double colorless energy or 2 grass. Either one will work. And there we go, he has a double colorless and an Eviolite. But there's no N. So we know that Justin has a catcher in his hand. He should just be able to Dynamotor onto that Thundurus and go ahead with a catcher and get a knockout. And that will be the game. Then we'll move on to game 3. And yeah, that'll be that. I don't see this ending any other way unless Dustin pulls off some magical card I've never seen before. There we go. There is X-Ball. And we'll have a Dynamotor onto Thundurus. And catcher can knock out any of those 3 Pokemon on Dustin's bench. And there we go. Disaster Volt for the game. This series is all tied up. Justin takes out Dustin in game 2. We are tied 1-1, and we will move on to game 3 to see who is the superior Ustin in this battle here at the top 4 of the Ohio State Championship. So stay tuned. We'll see who wins this exciting series in a bit. Be right back.